On previous episode on CB Sailing, we covered our 250 nautical mile journey from central Adriatic to Istrian Peninsula.
Biggest ride of the century.
The night before our planned passage down to south, we got a hot tip from our sailing buddy Andy. Having done a similar passage just recently, Andy recommended a historic, charming little town further north in the Istrian Peninsula. It's called Rovinj. But first, we decided to top up our fuel as the winds have been light last week and we have been motor sailing more than we would like to.
If Andy and Sonia recommend Rovinj, then we must carry on and go further north to check out Rovinj. We got their email last night, so the timing was perfect. Thanks for the tip, guys.
City of Rovinj is located about 50 nautical miles north of Pula, and the weather forecast shows distant winds from northwest and calm seas. Perfect conditions for an upwind passage.
Just wrapped up the first week of our passage up north to the Istria Peninsula in Croatia, and I have to say the whole journey up here has just been amazing. And what has been the most interesting to me is seeing the different landscapes that Croatia has. So down in the south where our home base marina is, the mountains are very dramatic, and then you go through the islands of Coronati, which are kind of flat and arid and desert-like, and then up to the Istria Peninsula where we are, where it's just like rolling green hills, Venetian, Italian architecture. So it's just been really fun to see Croatia and all the different lights it has to offer. And we've unexpectedly have ended this first leg of our passage in the most charming city, Rovinj, which, as you've seen from this video, is just an absolute delight. One of the things I wanted to call out and mention about the Istria Peninsula is Rovinj and I have been getting a super warm welcome as Americans. And we find it kind of interesting. We haven't seen any Americans, first of all, in the last 6 weeks since we've been to Croatia. And of course, a lot of that is because of the pandemic and travel restrictions. But what we've learned is most Americans go down to the Dubrovnik and southern Croatia area, so not many come north. So the northerners here just go crazy for us. It's been so fun and so nice. And then the other thing is, Rovinj and I, we fly not only, of course, the American flag, since our boat is registered as an American boat, but we also fly the California flag, which as you can see right now, there's not a lot of wind. But the California flag has gotten a lot of attention. People have come over to talk to us who love California, who have been there. They wanted to know if we've sailed the boat from California over here. So it's been a great conversation starter, and we've just met a lot of lovely people because of that.
We left Rovinj about half an hour ago, and then we started our journey back to the south. So our first stop is Pula. We are expecting some weather coming up, so we hope to find a slip in the Pula marina and then weather the storm. And the next morning we're gonna carry on further south. On our way back to southern Adriatic, our next stop over is another familiar marina, Pomer. Located at the southern tip of Istria, this spot is ideal before crossing the Kvarner Channel. Next stop in our journey is the island of Kres, located in the Kvarner Gulf. This 30 nautical mile passage requires us to cross the channel between the Istrian Peninsula and northernmost Croatian islands in the Adriatic. We left Kres Marina about 2 hours ago, and we are heading up north to round the island of Kres, which is the island you guys see behind me. And that's probably going to be the northest point that we sailed in Adriatic. And once we round that island, we are going to start heading down south to island of Kirk, where we plan to meet my friend Boris over drinks and dinner. Just like weather in Adriatic, our plans changed during our passage and we ended up sailing further up north to Opatija, near a city called Rijeka. This is the furthest north we have been in Adriatic, and it is likely to stay that way. Commissioned in 1990, Marina Opatija is one of the earliest marinas built in the region. Rounding the breakwater, we immediately noticed limited space for maneuverability inside the marina, so we decided to back out, flip the boat, and navigate our way in reverse. Later we learned when the marina was constructed, it was designed to accommodate boats around 10 meters, which was considered fairly big back in the days. As years passed, the boats got bigger and bigger, limiting the space to maneuver within the marina. As an Elan impression owner and an experienced commercial ship captain, Boris has been a valuable resource during our boat research and became a great friend since we purchased the boat. Having him on board on CB for the first time puts a smile on our faces. Boris spent hours on board going through all the system on CB and shared his deep insight into this model, as well as some very entertaining stories relative to his nautical experiences, especially with seasonal Croatian charter boats. Cheers to Boris. After saying goodbye to Boris and Opatija, we departed Istria once and for all next morning and started heading south. It is unlikely we will be able to sail back up this much north in Adriatic ever again. Our first planned anchorage is located at the west end of Kirk Island, about 20 nautical miles south of Opatija. We ended up at a beautiful anchorage called Uvala Mala Yana. The bay is small but stunning. The water was cleanest and the bluest we have ever seen in Croatia. This still remains our favorite anchorage in Croatia to date.